People who take massive war crime level dumps in public bathrooms but don't flush. Why? Can't flush it if it's on the floor now, can I? Fair play. My dude really said check and mate. No, he really said can't flush it if it's on the floor now, can I? You aren't wrong though. He stared at the comment. He looked at the thread. He stared at the comment, and all that it said. He stared at the comment. And when he was through, he stared at the comment. He said, "This is true." Some people like to show off. I believe it's called the fight or flight response. Lord knows I booked it out of there. Did you flush? He asked, realizing he might not like the answer. Well, he booked it, hat spinning in mid-air style and everything. You think he thought to make a flushy? As a janitor, I'd like to know the answer to this as well. Also, why poop in the urinal? Sometimes tourist shit. On the outside of the toilet. Edit, out there, you're Canadian. In here. European. Thank you for the awards. Ah yes, the Letterkenny sketch that's 2.5 minutes long but feels like it's 5 hours long, yet I'll watch it twice in a row to laugh and suffer simultaneously, and I have no idea why. NSFW language, U2.B. Feels like you told me that nearly a year ago now. For me, I get confused when there's no paper, and no way in hell they had a ghostie. You don't know it's a ghostie without paper. They flushed once, the paper washed down but the log didn't. Yip. There's a certain consistency of floater that will just unravel itself from all the toilet paper and hang around for infinite flushes. I have lived with one of those people. Said person would wipe, close the lid and flush. If they were in a hurry, they wouldn't both reopening the lid to check. Unravel itself from all the toilet paper, just imagining someone wrapping it up like a mummy or a Subway. You don't catch each turd carefully in the palm of your hand and then lovingly wrap it up for its journey. Weird. What if it's so large it doesn't flush? Poop knife. Quick military story. I used to be a missile officer in the Air Force. A couple hundred times, 392 to be exact, in the mid-2000s, I went out to remote sites and commanded nuclear missiles, etc. Anyway, those remote sites had underground capsules replete with toilets. Some of those toilets didn't work too well on the solids. So, some of my compatriots developed a poop knife, i.e. a butter knife stolen from the site's kitchen tea taped to a plunger handle. We used the poop knife for months, maybe years, can't remember exactly. But, it cut a lot of shit down to size. Unfortunately, towards the end of my career going to those sites, that duck and gross knife disappeared, and it was theorized that it went back into kitchen rotation. If I had to guess, it was a departing officer's way of saying fuck you to some pretty frustrating, stressful duty. Everybody was wary of every butter knife for months. Nuclear poop knife. Nice. Edit. The nuclear poop knife would obviously need to be subject to rigorous authentication procedures prior to its use, an officer stationed near the president at all times with the codes written on a roll of toilet paper. Other world governments' nuclear programs would need to be constantly monitored to ensure that we didn't have a poop knife gap. And any missing nuclear poop knives would be immediately subject to a broken plunger alert. Edit 2. This isn't the first poop knife tale in Reddit lore. Nice. What about the people that have sticky poop where no matter how many times you flush it doesn't dislodge and you have to use another bowl? I imagine the dude doing the walk of shame to another stall to continue on his path of toilet destruction. Yeah, unlike his poop, he doesn't stick around. His poop is more reliable than my father. Are you okay? They are saving the planet by saving water. Well, you're not wrong. I once had a war crime size dump that wouldn't flush. It was way too big and wouldn't break up after multiple flushes. This was at high school, so after a few tries I was going to be late for class and had to go. It was so big later in the day I overheard people talking about it. While having had the office by the bathrooms, I can probably tell you. Mostly they just don't know that it didn't go down. Epic filled bowls take more than one flush, and some people's mothers didn't raise them to check their flush. They just get up, hit the lever, hopefully with their hands, and leave. Other people clog the toilet. In my case, we had a plunger, but many bathrooms just don't for some ungodly reason. And even in our case, many people just leave because they don't want to deal with a clogged toilet. Again, I blame bad parenting, probably just didn't get enough hugs as a child. Oh, and there were a few people that put ducking paper towel in the toilet. Those are the cat stranglers, you really have to watch out for them. Oh, and there were a few people that put ducking paper towel in the toilet. Those are the cat stranglers, you really have to watch out for them. Is this a common thing? I worked somewhere where there was a mystery person who kept putting entire rolls of TP in the toilet. It happened roughly once a month, and we had to call the plumbers sometimes because it clogged so badly. Is this just standard disgruntled employee fuckery? Edited to add, it wasn't a toilet paper pillow for poo situation. This person was putting the entire toilet paper roll, cardboard tube and all, into the toilet without anything else added. In my case, I think it was just people who didn't know better. I learned a lot there about what people are or aren't taught. Things I took for granted, like how to do laundry, manage a paycheck, or that only toilet paper will break up in a toilet and that anything else will cause issues. Oh, sorry, I misread your comment. I think you're right that some people just don't know you can't put paper towels in the toilet. I somehow read your comment as entire toilet roll instead of paper towel, probably just reading way too fast. Forgot my poop knife. We've all been there. War crime level. Lol. This is military grade stink we're talking about. Shit is serious, quite literally in this case. Sometimes the toilet doesn't flush. It's not like I can take it back out. I stopped at a rest stop and had to go. It could not wait. 67 toilets were clogged with multiple shits and/or had shit all over the seat, so I used the only toilet remaining to take a massive bin on a road trip eating fast food for 3 days shit. It wasn't until I had wiped and stood up that I realized there was no way to flush it. The toilet had been broken the whole time. It was clear to me that my mountain of shame, piled some distance out of the water, would remain present for the next visitor. Embarrassed, I hastily washed my hands and left the scene of the crime, hoping nobody would notice, but as I turned the corner I watched as someone entered from the other side, opened the stall I was just in, and shouted, "Aw, ducking gross." I couldn't disagree, but I wasn't about to stick around to explain things. I hopped in my car and never looked back. C'est la guerre. Imagine all the people who stopped at that rest stop after you did, only to find that all 7 toilets were full of shit and unflushable. Oh, that poor janitor. Probably the most valid question I've come across on this page yet. Working in construction and seeing some of these toilets, I need to know. Inquiring minds need to know. Plugging it up would be worse. Let's let it soak for a while, then try. I dealt with a clogged toilet by waiting 8 hours and flushing again because I was too lazy to plunge it. It worked, but my family was not so happy about it. I wonder why. Who wouldn't appreciate such a situation? When my mom was a custodian, she once found a douche in the toilet that she literally had to cut into pieces with a knife in order to get it to flush. It was horrifying. Cut my deuce into pieces, this poop just won't contort pipe congestion, it's leaving. Thank ducking God, I was almost heaving, poop a roach. I've only done this once. Basically, I had been on the road for work all day and stopped at a Chipotle to get some food in me. Naturally, I have to take a growler right after eating, so I go in the bathroom to blow it out. About 5 minutes in, this kid starts banging on the door to use the bathroom while I'm trying to handle my business. I told him it was occupied, but this crotch fruit wouldn't give up. He had this high-pitched voice and was telling me to hurry up and just wouldn't leave me alone. I decide if he wants on as fast as possible, I could get him in about 3 seconds earlier if I don't flush, so I leave the war crime behind. When I walked out, I couldn't help but give him a smirk as he said finally. This was in the middle of Missouri and his dad probably looked like C-Bay, so I was already halfway out the door when I heard the kid yell, "Are you serious?" Taught that little shit a lesson. Little shit couldn't handle the big shit. Parenting for others really takes it out of you.